Hi, my name is Federico. I am from El Salvador. I was born in Santa Ana the 22nd day of March of 1961. And this is my project. I've been working at this for the past 8 years. This project started in my mind when I was 16 years old. I have kept working at it in my mind for all this time. I'm now 50 years old. And I finally can see that dreams do come true.
His project is called Tierra Nueva, the New Earth Project, literally creating New Earth with sustainable technologies.
It is possible to live, with sustainability, something that this will perpetuate itself. It's not going downhill, it's going up. And what the idea is that there be no waste. Waste cannot exist. Okay, there is no waste. And instead of looking at it as trash, seeing that there is a resource there. Everything that we have around is part of a cycle, and we have to understand it and have to fuse into the cycle that we're trying to make as a way of sustainability. And what we're trying to do is trying to take the example of the ecosystem and understand an ecosystem and create and administer our own ecosystem. Instead of coming to destroy everything, we're trying to see how it works and trying to make it work for us. We take care of it, it takes care of us. But then we become, gardeners to where we understand that this is our Mother Earth. We came from this. We didn't come from Mars. We came from this. We take care of this. This will feed us. This is the Pachamama. We all one. Just like the cells in this body, there's millions of cells that all work beautifully together to make this body work. That's what we are. Billions of individuals that can work beautifully together to make this world work. If we want to prove how valuable we are, you know how we can do that? Helping others. Putting the other one, saying, you're more important than I am. You're more important than I am. I'll work for you. And if we all think that way, sooner or later we'll think that I'm more important. And somebody will help me. But I have to start helping others first. If I don't show, that I can live like this, this is craziness according to the capitalist world that we've been living on. Man, me first, That's what they told us. And I tell you the first line they told us. Okay? My name is Federico. And they say, Federico, you are Federico and you have a consciousness. And that's a lie. I am a consciousness. I have is this body, and we call it Federico because we have to call it something. When I was 16 years old, the civil war in El Salvador started, and I lived pretty well. But then this people that tried to get me to go into the left wing told me, the reality that the rest of the people live in the country, and I felt like they were right. There needed to be a change, but I told them that grabbing a gun and shooting somebody else was not going to make any changes. And I promised that guy, I said, I will find a solution. I promised to work on a solution. And to me, this is the solution. Welcome to my garden. This is the Tierra Nueva garden, the Tierra Nueva project. And I'm glad to have you here. I'd like to take you to the garden and explain pretty much what is it that I'm doing and how I do it. The first thing I'd like to tell you is that most of the plants that you'll be able to see here came in the trash. What I mean is sometimes people they prune their ornamental plants and then they'll throw them away, and I'll pick up their prunings and I bring them here and I set them so that they root. And a lot of the plants, like those ones right there and this one right here and a bunch that we're gonna see, they were trash. One day they were trash and now they're living plants. This is the part of the garden, the part of the garden that is dedicated to ornamental plants. This is all of these are ornamentals. This is great because a long time ago, about maybe 4 years ago, I had some of this, and a school teacher asked me if she can have some to plant at the school, and I gave it to them. And then one day they pruned their plants and they threw away the prunings, and I picked them up and I did it again. So this is like second generation. This here is a little bit more ornamentals. This plants right here, this huge plants, they had a fungus, and the owner pulled them out, rooted and everything, and threw them away. And I picked them up, brought them over here, planted them, sprayed them with I used iodine as a fungicide, and there they are. And that's actually a plant that came from one of this. There's another one. And here we get into the part of the new earth. This is where we have the compost piles. This is where we begin to make new earth. And here is a compost pile that we put together yesterday with the help of the volunteers. There were 2 volunteers that left this morning. And we built this compost pile yesterday. This will be tomorrow's new soil. Okay, and this is the process. This is like was built yesterday. This one right here, it has been built for Sunday. We'll have 2 weeks, and it'll be time to turn it, to move it to another space. We have it covered for two reasons. One of it, and I would like for you to put your hand on this. One of the reasons is not to get too much rain on it. Mm-hmm. You feel right here? Tell me what the temperature feels like.
Oh, it's really warm.
Okay.
Really warm.
And that's the other purpose of the tarp, is to keep the temperature up. Look, this is not warm. This is, in here is hot. It's very hot. You know, the deeper I dig, the hotter it's gonna be. That's what compost is supposed to do. If you have your carbon-nitrogen ratio correct, then the temperatures can go up quite a bit, and they should. Now, Sunday, this will be turned to this right here, to this area right here. Okay. Now, this is the oldest compost pile that we have. This one time looked exactly like that. Okay, and now this looks like dirt. Now, as far as compost goes, this is ready to go into the garden, but we here at the project, at the New Earth project, we don't finish with this. This we take and we put into this discarded refrigerators, or we also make some troughs, and we have earthworms here. The earthworms are, I guess, the most important part of the equation, because they take the compost and they digest it, they eat it, and they digest it. And as they digest, can you see the worms? Here's some. Okay. These worms, these guys, they eat their own weight every day in food. And as they digest this material, whatever nitrogen they find in there, they'll multiply by 5. Whatever phosphorus they find in there, they'll multiply by 7. And whatever potassium they find in there, they'll multiply by 11. And they'll make this beautiful, just beautiful soil. Some of this were the weeds that I had to pull from my garden. Now they're going back into my garden, but as fertilizer for the plants that I want. And this is how we make new soil, new earth that goes back into the garden. And this guarantees the sustainability of the garden. This way my garden will always, every day, will be better. the nutrients are replenished, the organic material is replenished all the time. And then I'm eating food that is healthy, you know, and my garden is always giving me back. Whatever I put in, it gives it back to me. And this is a nice example here of all of this. If you see all of this dirt, it's dirt that we made here at the house. This is the real level of the existing ground, and all of this has been dirt that has been built. Now, if you see this tree and you compare it to this other tree, you think that this is an older tree. They were planted at the same time, only we started to put the new soil, the compost soil on this one 1 year before than this one. We're working right now, cleaning the garden. We just recently, some volunteers came and got the weeds off of here and moved the plants. We're using discarded things to try to keep weeds from growing. That's why you see those pieces of wood in the ground. This is an interesting plant. This plant is called chipiling, okay? It's a nitrogen fixer, okay? It also, we consume the leaves. The leaves are rich in iron. The roots of the plant exude the same type of gas that they use in the gas chamber, nerve gas, and that gas kills bugs that live in the ground, okay? Cleans the ground. So it's a nitrogen fixer. It's putting nitrogen in the ground. It's cleaning the ground around it. The leaves can be eaten, and if you have an excess, it's okay. It loves to be pruned. And if you have an excess of this, the excess can go into your compost pile, adding extra nitrogen to the pile. These are ground covers that, you know, in the ornamental side of the garden, I'm experimenting with different ground covers, and this is one. It is very nice. I'm always adding mulch to the ground. You know, whatever material I can get, whether it's sawdust, whether it's grass clippings, whether it's dead leaves, I'm always adding them to the ground. And this helps with the weeds, for not so many weeds to grow, and also helps to keep the moisture in the ground, something that is very important in this area. These are okras that I don't know if you're familiar with this plant. It's a food. They were born here, so we left them alone and we harvest them. It turns out that with the old seeds, you can roast them and grind them and make a drink similar to coffee. You can know what kind of a tree you're looking at by just grabbing a leaf of the tree and you crush it and you smell it. Okay, and then we'll grab a leaf from this one and we'll crush it and smell it.
Completely different, yeah.
Completely different. And these leaves can be used, they make beautiful tea. Just grab the leaf of any citrus tree, crush it and put it in boiling water, take it off the heat, leave it a couple of minutes, and you have a beautiful tea. This is kind of a miniature banana tree, you know, and I selected them because there are some big banana trees, but I selected this because they're kind of small and they're working in combination with other trees, but they don't rest or they don't steal the sunlight from the growing trees that I'll show you back there. Now this has become a very important plant here in the garden because we're using it as a carbohydrate. When this one is just opening up, but when they're almost mature, at about let's say about 2 months from now, they won't be ready to eat. They won't be yellow. They will be green. But then we can cut them and cook them, and it's like a potato. Okay, and then we eat most of that in that way. And then the very end of the bananas, we let them get ripe, and then we eat those yellow. But the thing is that if you let the whole thing ripen, you will never be able to eat all the bananas, you know, and they'll go bad.
Yeah.
And so they have become important as a carbohydrate. This is another root. It's another carbohydrate. It's planted right down here. And this one is called yame. And it, depending on the type of soil that it has, it could grow up to 100 pounds. I've been working with this one for 3 years, with this plant for 3 years. This is going to be the 3rd year. Last year we harvested and sold it in the market, and yeah, the people bought it. But this year the intention is to try to dehydrate and to store the harvest. And then we also planted, we staggered when we plant, because it fruits once every 8 months. There is more of that root planted next to the fence to let the vine grow there as part of the fence, and then it doesn't take up any space in the garden, but we're trying to utilize the spaces.
Yeah.
This is also another root that is very traditional for the area. This one gives small bulbs also. It's another root, another carbohydrate. The center of this plant, this leaf can be eaten, but first needs to be boiled thoroughly, and then it can be fried. This is also a plant that we can eat. It's a type of spinach, and it can be eaten raw or it can be cooked. This is taro, or Chinese potato, they call it also. As you can see, that spinach, you know, and it's growing here. This is another plant that is indigenous to most of Central America, and it's also rich in iron. We call it sometimes quilete. If you were diagnosed with anemia, you could take this, put it in a blender with the tomato juice and some lime. You should always take lime with plants that have iron, so that the iron can be absorbed. And so you put a bunch of these leaves, a little tomato juice, lime, salt, whatever, sauce, and drink it. And that will boost up your iron. There's 9 plants of habanero peppers. And last harvest I had, there was 1 week when I made 700 quetzales from these plants. Okay, now the soil that these plants are planted on is this ugly material, okay? But what we've done is we made a hole in this material, and we added the lumber compost, and then we widen the holes, add more lumber compost, and we add it at the base of it. And we think we'll be able to keep these plants producing for about a year. There'll be plants this big in this way. In most productions, they would harvest the first time, and then they would pull the plants and throw them away, you know, and start again. But in this type of production, we're trying to make the plants as big as we can get them. Now here is an interesting concept that we're trying out. We noticed that the pepper plants in the sun, they don't do that well anymore. You know, it's this too harsh for them now. In the past, we could grow them in the sun, but now they don't do too well. So we have these coconut trees that do shade the plants and help them out. Now the grass is also a component of this system, because the grass being it does this, it keeps the weeds down, it shades the soil so that there is not much evaporation because of direct sun exposure to the soil, and also serves another purpose. Bugs that come with a virus, because of the sap in the gramíneas is sweeter, they'll go straight into the grass and will feed on that first, and then they will clean their beaks in the disease that they carrying. They'll leave it there where it causes no harm, and then they can jump onto the pepper plants and they can feed on the pepper plants, and they will not they will not cause damage. Okay, and we're trying to work on this. We're probably gonna grow with the habanero plantation and with the production of pepper sauces. And so we're experimenting here in a small scale. I have 3.5 acres of land. This is only 1,500 square meters. I have 35,000 square meters of land just 3 blocks away. And over there is also another component. There's an animal component of that we'll have over there. Over there we'll have also pigs, chickens, we'll have goats, we have cows, and maybe rabbits, something like that, and all the plants. And that is what the project is going to. We probably also have fish over there and shrimp. That's where the project is going to. I'm building 2 rooms, 2 complete rooms over here that we probably can hold like 3 people very comfortably. Each room will have their own bathroom, shower, sink, everything. And then the 2 toilets will empty into the biodigester that we'll see in a little bit. And the showers will empty into a tank that is going to be built here. Okay. From here, this is the highest part of the land. Okay. And this tank will receive all the water from the wash, from the laundry, from the dishes, from everything will go to that tank. It will hold the water for a period of time. Then it will go through a natural coconut filter, and then we'll use that water to water all of the plants. So if you decide that you want to come and take a shower for 45 minutes, that's 45 minutes that you saving me of watering my garden. And like I said, the 2 toilets will empty over here into the biodigester. There's like three different types of biodigester. This is the Chinese type that uses the least amount of room of all of them, and also it produces the most amount of biogas. Close to here, there are like about 100 meters from here, there is a cow pen where they keep cows, 32 cows. And I can go get all the cow manure that I want from there. So I'll bring that and I'll put it over here. We put we'll use this to close the entrance. We mix the cow manure 50-50 with water. When that's mixed, we open this, and there is a tube that goes here. You can't see what's down here, but here we have a 9 cubic meter tank. 6 cubic meters hold the cow manure. 3 cubic meters are a dumb, empty space where we collect the gas. Okay. Now this goes in there, and in theory, whatever we load today, it will spend 21 days in there, and it will produce biogas, and then it will come out to this tank. We're having problems with and we think it might be a problem with the alkalinity of the water that we're mixing. It might be too alkaline. So as you saw all those lemons, we think that might be the answer that we're looking for. If we can introduce some of those lemons in there to level the acidity, we think it might produce, and that's where we're going to next. Now, the stuff that comes from here, whatever comes out of here, it's already a fertilizer that can be used directly onto the plants. But we take this and we use it into the compost pile, okay? And then we let it go through all the process of the earthworms. It was something very beautiful. I was here working one day and I said, God, I can't believe that nobody else in the world thinks like I do. And about 4 days later, a steady stream of people started to come in, think exactly like this, that really want to see this happen. They really want to understand this. once we have it established, once this thing is working, it'll be a school for everyone that wants this new life we all are wanting to have, you know, to be able to come straight and learn from my mistakes. And I'm here, I'm inviting everybody that wants to come learn, come give me a hand. I need a hand. We need to prove this, and we need to more people living like this. And look, this is fulfilling. I remember 1 year after I got into this, I was pulling rocks out of the ground, and I stopped for a minute. I stuck my hands in my pocket, and I noticed that I didn't have a penny. And I stopped and reflected for a minute, and I thought, I don't have a penny in my pocket. I never felt so happy in my life.
Had the fantastic opportunity to stay here with Federico for a couple of days. Yesterday we did a little bit of work around the place, and there's all sorts of good projects going on. We helped form a huge compost pile, and hopefully that'll help with the agriculture that's going on here soon. He's really got a great example of how sustainable living can take place between the rainwater catchment, the compost piles, all the plants that he's got growing. He's got such a passion for continuing and making these plants thrive, and it's really been a fantastic experience to learn what we can from him and help him out a little bit while we're here.
He produces most of what he consumes, and that's what I believe in. I think that is the future for us as a human race, because clearly where we're going right now, it's not gonna lead us very far. I really appreciate his attempt of trying to find a new way of living, of creating something new that is self-sustainable, that is respectful towards nature, that composes everything and nothing is thrown away, everything is recyclable, and he's just making this great thing. His house is always green, and it's absolutely beautiful. I think everybody should come in and volunteer and take a part in this project and learn from Federico everything they can, and he's so open to learning as well. He's always asking and searching for new ways. So if you have anything to bring it on. If you just want to come in and learn and get an experience as well, it's a great place.
¿Por qué deberíais llegar a casa de Federico? Pues porque es la mejor experiencia que podéis tener aquí en Guatemala, y yo creo que si llegáis no os vais a arrepentir, y si pensáis quedaros una semana os quedaréis un mes y así sucesivamente. Así que no os lo penséis más y venir a colaborar con el proyecto, que seguro que disfrutáis mucho y aprendéis muchas cosas.
I had a few kind of gardens in the past, and working with Federico gave me a lot of ideas for the future concerning how to kind of keep the crops going for a longer period of time and just more creative ways to garden. I think volunteers will get a lot out of their experience here. They should be prepared to be willing to work and get dirty and have a good time. And Federico has a wealth of knowledge that he's more than willing to share, so it's a good exchange.
Federico really knows a lot, and you can learn so much. And yeah, for example, yesterday we did composting, and I learned about that. And yeah, I wish I can stay here longer. I'm traveling, so I hope I can come back so one day and learn more and stay longer. Yeah, and I can recommend it to everybody to stay here.
Casi el destino me trajo a este lugar sin saber mucho. Encontré más de lo que buscaba. Puedo ayudar mucho. Encuentro también espiritualidad, cuarzo, muchas frutas y verduras. Se puede aprender mucho sobre la naturaleza, la permacultura y sobre las cosas que te interesan.
It's a great experience, so there's so much to learn here and so much to offer back at the same time. So it's a really great place for people to come and do an even exchange.
The wonderful thing is that everything we're learning is going towards our own project that we will be working on in the future. This is an amazing opportunity for experience, and we are in the process of creating our own self-sustainable village community one day as well.
It's just been a living example of how it can be done, and it's quite easy and quite comfortable to live this way. Now that I've seen this sort of lifestyle, I think this is exactly the way to go, and we really encourage other people to come out and experience it for themselves and take a little bit of knowledge away with them to create a more connected life with our Mother Earth.
We truly recommend that anybody have the chance, stop on in and get a chance to know Federico a little bit better. He's an amazing person, as well as all the information that he's got. It's just so great to learn a few pieces of what he can share. The Tierra Nueva project is off to a good start, and we hope that there's a lot of volunteers in the future that can help carry it on.